So when you're grabbing your screens, you're going to have two designs. You're going to do this in the dark room, but since the demo, there's more room out here, we're going to do it out here in the classroom. You're going to take your most detailed design. So I have my most detailed design here. First thing you want to do is arbitrarily do a vertical and horizontal line in the opposite corners. Once you have that established, you're going to take another design and you're going to lay it on, and when you have it laid on the exact spot you want it, you're going to retrace that vertical and horizontal line in the opposite corners, right on top. So if this is lined up exactly, just retrace it. So then on your two colors, you have a horizontal vertical cross on both sheets of your vellum. Everyone follow me on this so far? Next step is take your most detailed design, you tape it towards the top of the screen. Remember, the square end is the bottom, round side is the top. And take some Scotch tape. Remember, you don't need a lot of Scotch tape, just enough tape to tape the opposite corners. And now what you're going to do is with the ruler, you're going to measure the intersection of your vertical and horizontal line to the square, the straight edge around the frame. Now every screen has the plastic strips going through that holds the mesh in place. So I'll take the ruler and I'll measure this, and this says 2 1/4. So on a pad of paper in the darkroom, you'll go top 2 1/4 inches. Then you're going to make one more measurement. You're going to take the measurement and go from the side of your vertical and horizontal intersection to the side of the frame. So if I take this to the edge here, that says 6 3/4 inches. So I'll write side 6 3/4 inches. Why am I doing that? Why am I spending time on this screen taking the measurements here? What, I'm sorry? Easier to line them up, because if I just arbitrarily place this on one screen and then arbitrarily place this on another screen, the likelihood they're going to be lined up to each other is not even close. The most important measurement is your top. If it's off on the side when you measure the two, you got room to maneuver by moving the screen side to side. But you don't have a lot of maneuverability going top to bottom, if you follow me. So again, with this measurements here, then I would take that time, lay it on, measure it from here to the edge, the intersection, then intersection there to the side, tape it down. Everyone follow me to this point on your two screens. Then once you have them set, you burn both right away, put them on the rack. Now we have the screens already burned, they're dried. Next step is you take your most detailed screen and you can do a sample print on a sheet of paper. So, and you're going to have to be careful because of the cord here. So you're going to bring this down. Make sure your paper is covering your whole design. Notice that when we burn it, we got the square end in the clamp, the rounded side is towards the top. I put the ink on the side of the squeegee already. When you're grabbing the ink, just put it right on the corner of the blade like I'm doing here. Again, the putty knife rests on top of the cover. Don't put it inside the ink. If you get ink on your fingers, wipe it off right away. So you got it at 90 degrees right now, my squeegee to my screen. I'm going to tilt it slightly. Push down hard, bring it across. I'm resting my squeegee on the clamps on this end. Now I got my sample print. Now what do you need to do with this right here is dry it under the spot heaters. You're just going to dry it under the spot heater, not very long, probably about 20 seconds if that. While that's doing that, your next step is you want to start setting up your other screen. Notice that on both screens here, I've taped on the bottom because I don't want ink to seep through where the emulsion is not. And again, the emulsion is the blue area. If your design is big, like some of you are doing 11 by 17 designs, if your design goes all the way to the top, then tape the top of your design off. I had a student earlier today that had a wide design and ink started going off on the side, so I made sure she taped the sides. So now that's dry. So now the next step is you're going to grab your other screen. Again, you're going to tape the bottom of the screen. Make sure you line it up. Now, you want to line it up so it looks good. If that looks good, you're going to clamp it down. And as you're clamping it down, press down on the screen with your opposite hand. Also, this area right here, these back wheels, it's called micro registration. And what it allows you to do is move your screen around. So if I move one side, notice what it's doing to the screen. I can move the other side if I need to. So if you need to fine tune your registration of your second color, loosen this up here, and then you can move it back and forth, side to side, and you can also move it side to side right behind the nuts here. So that looks good. Also make sure that your bottom end of your clamp here, bottom end of your clamp is resting behind the board. Some students still will have the clamp resting on top of the board. And now we have our two color on here. All right. So you're going to send it down the dryer. So spray it on. When you load the shirt on, remember there's two adjustments to unlock your boards, bottom and the side. When you're pulling it, pull it all the way through. Then you grab the shirt by the shoulders. It's easy to move the shirt. Some students try to go like this. Well, then what happens, the shirt is sticking on the spray adhesive you put on the board, and it's hard to make your shirt lined up exactly. So pull it all the way through, grab it by the shoulders. You take your most detailed or highest part of your design up, put your finger on the side. You know, right now, 3 to 4 fingers. What adjustment do I need to do with my shirt? Pull it down. Check it again, look in the side. That looks pretty good. Your most detail needs to go first. So if you make any adjustments, you can do it with the design that has the less detail. Again, 90 degrees, tilt it a little bit. Now we'll dry this under the spot heater. Again, 20 seconds, 30 seconds at the max. Don't leave it over longer. If you leave it over there too long, because of the heat, the shirt's going to shrink. Then your second color, you're not going to get registered at all. And notice how many times am I going. I've done a sample print with 2 colors. I did the first color on the shirt. So 3 screen prints pulls I did. How many times did I go over it each time? When I pulled the squeegee across, how many times did I go over it? Once. Some of you go over 3, 4, 5. Go. Once is plenty enough to get your ink on the shirt or your paper. Now you make sure the second color is lined up. Here we go. Notice I took it off by the shoulders. My fingers are clean. You get ink on your fingers, you're going to get ink all over on your shirts. Any questions? Now is the time to ask. When you're done printing, next step is you want to get as much ink out of your screen as possible. So you're going to grab your putty knife, scrape the ink off your squeegee. As much ink off your squeegee as possible. The less ink you have on your squeegee when you're done, easier it is for cleanup. And then scrape the ink out of your screen. Now, you're going to use this stuff in the spray bottles called WB-40, or WB-1, excuse me. If you don't have rags around, then you use paper towels. You'll spray a little bit on the rag. The rags are a lot denser. And you got to get the squeegee as clean as it was prior to you starting. The goal is if somebody else comes and uses white, they shouldn't have to worry about orange all over on it. So you want to get it as clean as this. Putty knife. Just get the again, a little bit of the WB-1. Get as clean as that. Okay. Now we got to get the ink out of the screen. I'm going to show the difference between if there's a rag around versus paper towel. I think you're seeing that rags are not as dense. It's easier to get the ink out of the screen. Now we got that done, so now you're going to take the masking tape out. And now we bring it to the next step, which is the white tank over there. And you're going to put it in at an angle so it's fully submerged. Make sure you put in landscape and not portrait. I'm going to rotate so the other side gets in there. When you take it out, make sure it drains all the way out. When you bring it to the spray booth, you want the screen side facing you. The side, the indentation that the ink was in, that's the well side. If you forget, it also says up here, it says screen side facing you. When using the pressure wash, you want water going through the gun before you turn the motor on. Don't come over here and do this. You're gonna fry out the motor. So water through the gun first, then turn the motor on. And you're gonna use a WB1. Notice that if I left the screen like this, all that orange from originally, that's called ghosting. I gotta get that out. You're gonna take your WB1, spray it. You don't need a lot. Then you're gonna take a brush, scrub a brush on both sides of the screen. Water through the gun, turn the motor on. Then after you're done with the screen, show the instructor to make sure it's fully clean. When you're done in the spray booth, reclaim screens go all the way in the dark room, and it says signs back there, it says reclaim screens here. Thank you.